Inside the Minds of Most Influential Women of Hollywood. Take one. Hi, I'm Madison Rothschild, and you're watching Inside the Minds of Most Influential Women of Hollywood. Today, I'll be interviewing Nancy Utley, who's the president of Fox Searchlight. The president, how cool is that? She's worked with movies like Juno, Little Miss Sunshine, and lots of others too. As a kid, your mom balanced being a housewife and getting a job. Did that affect you, and how?
My mom didn't go to college, and she didn't have some of the opportunities that I had, and I think for a part of her life she was a little bit frustrated cooking and cleaning and taking care of us. And later in life she got to have a few jobs, and I felt she was a lot happier and more fulfilled, and maybe that had an influence on me as far as where I wanted to go with my life.
So you loved Barbies as a kid?
I loved my Barbies. I'm kind of frustrated none of my daughters ever got into dolls, but yeah, I did.
Choose Barbie or Skipper, and why?
Well, I think I'd have to go with Barbie for the glam factor, because I really kind of like clothes and makeup and stuff like that, and Skipper was kind of limited in that, so I liked being able to get Barbie ready to either go to like a casual outing or work, or go to like a big event with a ball gown and stuff like that.
What was your favorite subject in school, and why?
I always liked English because I like to read. So for me to be able to read for homework was really like fun. I didn't always like every book they assigned, but if you gave me a choice between doing math or doing science or doing something in humanities or reading, I'd rather be reading. So that was my favorite consistently all the way.
You're the president of Fox Searchlight now. Were you president of anything in school?
No. I wasn't that much of a joiner / leader in school. I tended, I think, to hang back a little bit and let other people take the leadership role. So I only came to feel comfortable being way out in front, you know, later in life. I had to develop the confidence, I think, over time that to feel like being the person out in front was comfortable for me.
You went to Northwestern University, wow, and got a master's degree. What did studying to be a journalist help you to be president now?
Well, I think two things. I think one thing is when you're studying journalism, there's a lot of emphasis on coming to the point of an idea. So if you're going to write a story, you can't, like writing a paper, right? You can't just ramble on and on and on. You have to get to the point at the beginning and hook your audience in. And I think that skill is applicable to a lot of things, like in a meeting, getting somebody's attention, cutting through sort of peripheral stuff and getting to the point of something and peeling back the layers to what actually matters. So I think that sort of getting to the heart of something was important. And also, I think journalism fosters curiosity, because journalists want to know why, right? They want to know, why did this fire happen, or why did this person decide to run for office? And I think in storytelling, in movies, we're curious. We're curious about people's lives. We're curious about what it would be like to be in World War II, or we're curious about what it would be like if your father died, or what if you were Juno and you got pregnant when you were a teenager. So I think that sense of curiosity and wanting to know things about people is something that I still use a lot also.
The Biz! Why do you call yourself a people pleaser?
Well, I think my hesitation about continuing into journalism was I was not entirely comfortable asking people really hard questions and sort of getting in their face and saying, well, wasn't it true that last Tuesday you said this and now you're saying this, and being sort of ultra confrontational, because I tend to just want people to like me, and I think they're not going to like me if I'm really being super hard on them. But a lot of my job, I do have to make hard choices, and I do have to have hard conversations with people.
What obstacles did you have added to your obstacle list when you became the president of Fox Searchlight?
Well, I had an obstacle to getting here. I had some obstacles along the way. I've been doing this for 30-something years now, so nothing has been like an overnight success or anything like that. And along the way, I had one boss who was really, really hard and unfair, and it was a really difficult few years getting past that, but I felt that if I hung in there and did my best and just kept proving I could do what I could do and trying not to be affected by negative behavior or, you know, inappropriate treatment, that I could somehow overcome it, and that did happen. So I'm glad about that.
What's one of your favorite things to do at work?
I think my favorite part of the job is when we go to film festivals and look for movies that we might want to acquire to distribute. So we go, a number of people from Searchlight, we go to the Sundance Film Festival in Utah. We go to, some of us go to the Cannes Film Festival in France, and we go to Toronto Film Festival in Canada, and a couple other ones. And there we get to just watch movies all day long from like 8:30 in the morning till midnight. And we're looking for movies that might be good Fox Searchlight movies. So we've acquired some movies like Little Miss Sunshine that way, and some of our biggest hits. And it's really fun to just sit there and watch movies all day and just think of whether you could find a way they might be successful Searchlight movies or not. And also there's a camaraderie of going with a group of people and traveling to another place and hanging out and, you know, eating together and stuff. That's really kind of fun. So
in your opinion, why was Slumdog Millionaire your #1 success?
We won 8 Oscars for Slumdog Millionaire, and 20th Century Fox, the company is 75 years old. And the company has won Best Picture 10 times, and one of those was this time. So it's very, very special to win Best Picture. It's really difficult. And we also made, I think, over $140 million in the U.S. box office. And the movie was very small and very inexpensive. So that was great. So it was a, you know, award success. It was a box office success. And also the group of people on the movie are just exceptionally great and nice, and we're still friends. So it was just a good people experience as well. So it's kind of a home run to have all those things mixed together. So
how do you buy movies at Sundance, and why did you pick Beasts of the Southern Wild?
When we go to a festival like Sundance, we go to a screening, and our competitors are there too. So it's kind of a funny environment because you can see Fox Searchlight people over here, and Focus Features are over here, and the Weinstein Company's over here. And so we're all kind of thinking like, oh, who's gonna get this movie? Who's gonna want the movie? So it's an electric kind of atmosphere in the room. And then when we're watching the movie, we have to be deciding while we're watching it, do we think it's a Fox Searchlight movie? How would we release it? When would we release it? What time of year? How many theaters would it be in? How much money do we think it could make? What would be worth paying for it? And then afterwards, we have to put our heads together really quickly and then come up with sort of a battle plan if we want to pursue it. And then we contact, there's a sales agent who's selling the movie, usually selling the rights to the film. And we contact them and sort of get in the mix, and we usually meet with the filmmakers and kind of present our case, say this is why we would be the best ones to do this, and then there's some financial negotiation, and sometimes we get it and sometimes we don't. Okay, so why did you pick Beasts of the Southern Wild? Well, Beasts of the Southern Wild is such an unusual movie that first of all, your head goes up and you go, what is this? This is not like any other movie I've seen before, because typically when we look at movies, we do what we call comps, which is comparing it to another movie. So you might say, this movie's like Juno, or this movie's kind of like A Little Miss Sunshine. Well, Beasts of the Southern Wild isn't like anything I've ever seen before. So originality is one of the main things that can get people to go to a movie, and it has it. And the other thing is we all just absolutely loved it. We loved it in our hearts. So we feel like if we loved a movie, probably other people will love a movie. And that was a good reason why we chose to get involved in it.
Family and hobbies. What made you decide to go on Match.com? And what was you and your husband's first date?
I actually, I was married for 18 years, and my husband passed away from a brain tumor. So, and it was a long illness, and I took some time after that just to be with my family, but then I wanted really just to meet somebody to go to the movies with or hang out with, and I was curious. I've talked about that curiosity. I was curious about how these sites would work, and I'd never been on one before, because most of my friends are married. So I went on there, and pretty soon after putting a posting, I found somebody who is now my husband, but we grew up 50 miles apart from each other in Illinois, and we were living only 4 miles apart in Los Angeles, and we're both half Irish and half Polish. But we never knew each other. We don't know any of the same people, and I don't think we would have ever met if it wouldn't been for Match.com. So it worked out pretty great.
You call your house a big, messy, modern family. What does that exactly mean?
Well, I have 2 different step families. In addition to, I had 3 daughters that were mine, but my husband, who passed away, had been married before. He had 2 kids, and they are each married, and they have 2 kids. So there's grandchildren on that side, and then my husband, who I married recently, has 2 kids. So we have this, one of these modern families that's patched together from all different, generations.
Charity. Why did you pick Donors Choose as one of your charities?
I've read that a lot of teachers spend a lot of their own personal money on school supplies because of budgets. They just don't have the money for what their kids need. And so, and teachers, by definition, usually don't make a lot of money themselves. So I like the idea of helping out a classroom or a teacher to get supplies, because education's been so important to me that I like to see other people get a chance at it. And the site is really cool because you can go on there and there's pictures of the classrooms and what they need. And it really, you can connect immediately with what you're doing. And also, you could put in maybe only $50 or something, and it helps complete a project, and a classroom could get a whole new library or a new rug to sit on for reading time. And it just gives me a little perspective when I'm caught in movie land and think that this is the only thing in the world, to see that there's other people out there.
The genie question. So if Magic Gene came to you and gave you 3 wishes, what would they be?
Well, if I was lucky enough to get 3 wishes, can they be really big wishes?
Oh yes, of course.
Okay, then I would wish that everybody in the world, regardless of their circumstances, regardless of where they live, could have 3 things: clean water, adequate food, and shelter.
I think that's 1 wish.
1 wish? Well, then I'd also give them an education or opportunity to be educated.
That's still in 1 wish.
That's all in 1 wish?
That's all in 1 wish, I think.
Oh, these are huge wishes. Well, I'd wish for my family and my friends and myself to have good health, because I went through a long period where a lot of people in my family were in the hospital. We were always at hospitals, and I feel like every day you're not in hospital is a great day, and I would like that to continue for a long time.
Still have 1 more wish.
Oh, wow, so many things to wish for. I'd like to go on vacation right now.
Right now?
Right, like today, I'd like to leave with you and just get on a plane and go somewhere unimaginable, like Tahiti or somewhere.
I'm Madison Mollers, and you just watched Inside the Minds of the Most Influential Women of Hollywood. Bye!